Welcome back to today's video. I am going to be doing a little story time talking about how I am living with Lyme disease. If you don't know, Lyme disease is basically a bacteria that you can get from ticks. That bacteria runs rampant on your body. It generally gets worse the longer that you've had it. I'll talk about what I have gone through, my experience. I don't have all of the education. A little bit of backstory. I have had a lot of different health issues pretty much my entire life. And I didn't really realize until I met my husband about 10 years ago that this was not how other people felt on a day-to-day basis, and this wasn't normal. Right after I had my third baby, I was to a point where I was just done with it. I was overwhelmed. I knew that I needed to get something figured out because where I was, I just felt awful all the time and it didn't go away. It didn't get better. I decided before the year ended that I wanted to go back and get some blood tests drawn. I wanted them to try to see what was going on. The day before that appointment, there was someone who grew up in the same town that I was from back in Montana, and she was talking about how her daughter came home that day and had a tick on her. When I was around 7 or 8, I remembered getting bit by a tick on the back of my neck. And it had implanted itself. Had to have my grandma get it out. At this point, I also knew a few people that had tested positive for Lyme disease, and their symptoms, what was going on with them was really kind of similar to what was going on with me. Something in me just said, okay, well, since you're gonna get the blood drawn, then let's just ask if you can get the test for Lyme done as well. When I went to my primary doctor, and this was a new doctor. It wasn't the doctor that I usually see because it was the end of the year. I told her all the different things and symptoms that I was experiencing, and she was very, very rude to me and told me that she thought I was a hypochondriac and asked me about my anxiety and how bad my anxiety was and if I was on medication for my anxiety, and that all of the other symptoms that I were experiencing weren't really happening, and that I was just imagining in my head that these symptoms were happening, or, oh, because you're fatigued and tired, well, you've just had 3 children, you should be tired. No, this is stuff that has been happening for so long, and I've just put it off as oh, I just need to get better. Oh, I just had a baby. Oh, I just am tired. I'm doing a lot. But it never goes away. When I had gone to this appointment, I was very much finally in a place where I had said, okay, I'm not accepting no as an answer. So she had called me and told me that I tested positive. She suggested I see an infectious disease doctor and schedule an appointment with him to get further testing done. The infectious disease doctor is not someone that I want to go to because they're not helpful with chronic Lyme. It depends where you live, where the resources are. I live in North Dakota. It has been very hard for me to find someone that is literate with Lyme. If you do the wrong thing to it, you will make it worse. And there's a lot of different things that work for one person that doesn't work for the next. Because your body is all overloaded, it creates all these symptoms. I've always had these things, but I definitely feel through having babies and nursing and when I had my gallbladder removed that those things triggered my Lyme to be more aggressive than it was previously. I don't have all of these things all the time all at once, but for the most part these are usually generally always there. A lot of joint pain, my hands, my wrists, my knees, my ankles. Those are the primary joints that cause me a lot of pain. It depends on what I eat, how inflamed my joints and my body feels. So eating is another big part of it. I have foods that I get reactive to. My hands will swell up to the point They'll get like sausage fingers, my fingers and my toes will. Anything that's like a constant repetitive action on my hands or my wrists affects me, and then they'll kind of be like out of commission for like 5 to 7 days depending on how severe. One of my biggest symptoms, really extreme fatigue, and it's to the point where I can sleep all night long. I never feel rested. If I'm trying to get up, if I'm trying to move, it's always fighting this like heavy weight on me, and this fatigue that just is overwhelming to the point of not being able to do a lot of things because it's so severe and I'm so fatigued that it takes a lot of my energy to do what I can do throughout the day. And what I am able to do depends on the day. I also have really severe anxiety, depression, irritability, and mood swings, so hormonal kind of all over the place, which again is kind of things that you feel every now and then, especially after having kids, nursing, your hormones adjusting. But this is stuff that I have felt last 25 years of my life. Even though I experience chronic fatigue, I also have really severe insomnia. It is very difficult for me to get to sleep at nighttime. It takes hours every single night. Also don't do good at all if I do not get enough sleep or if I get woken up while I'm sleeping. My body takes a very long time to reorientate when I wake up, or if I'm going from like sitting to standing or laying down for like 8 hours in a bed and then getting up, always nauseous. I think I've had 3 times where I experienced really bad vertigo. I couldn't move at all for like 2 or 3 days straight. If I'm doing too much too quickly, then my body will just everything just gets really, it's almost like you're drunk and you drank too much and everything is spinning, everything's going crazy around you, your head is just like floating above you, and it's really hard to like focus on things as well because there's this constant like disorientation. I have really bad concentration when I'm having conversations with people or if someone's trying to give me a lot of information. I have to really pay attention. That mom brain type of thing that you experience is something that I deal with all the time. The brain fog, forgetfulness, trouble finding the words that I'm trying to say. My body is really sensitive to any lights or any sounds. Everything is about 1,000 times louder for me. It's like everything is turned up really, really high. And especially because I have 4 kids that are going, they make a lot of noise. And for them, it's not bad noise. It's not that they're being bad. They just make noise. And that is really overwhelming for me. If I get too overwhelmed, then I start having a panic attack. If there's too much light and it's too bright around me, then my eyes start hurting as well. Migraines that come and go, they're not as bad as they were. I had a season where I had a lot of really bad migraines that would last for days on end, and it just feels like my head is just in a vice and it just hurts and I just like everything is just screaming at me. Also am extremely sensitive to temperature, to hot and cold. When I get hot, I'll get too hot and I can start having a panic attack. If I get too cold, my entire body is freezing. Usually my knees and my feet are always like ice cold. And I also get panic attacks, which these for me have been more prevalent in the last year and a half-ish. If I get too hot, if I get too cold, if it's too loud around me, if I'm trying to make lunch for the kids and they're being really loud, especially if I haven't ate, then I get overwhelmed really easy, and all of a sudden it just feels like overwhelming, like I can't breathe. I have to go find somewhere cold. I have to get away from the noise. I have to turn off like any lights in the house. I have to close all my blackout curtains and just go somewhere quiet for like 20-30 minutes till I can try to reset and not be as overwhelmed. I have really bad muscle cramping. Specifically my calves, I have had like a Charlie horse in the middle of the back of my calf for the last 3 months. It's been 3 months solid. Decreased vision. I have really, really poor immunity because it has been attacking my immune system for so long. I am always sick. Food is a really big thing that I struggle with because there's so many things that make it worse. So my body right now is reactive. Gluten is my worst enemy for my body. Dairy is the kind of number 2, and then 3 is corn. Corn does basically the same thing that gluten does to me, to soy, nuts, a lot of red meat, and then any sort of like beans. After I had Ari, I tried to look in the area for people that were literate anywhere near me, and I did not find anyone. And then right before I got pregnant with Eli, I had found a chiropractor that lives locally, that one of my church friends, she had gone to him for some other stuff, and she recommended that I go talk to him. And he was the first person that I have been to that actually understood and was literate in Lyme. We had just kind of started like 4 months that we were trying stuff. Then I got pregnant for the last time that I was pregnant. And from the second I was pregnant until the second I had him, all of these symptoms were even worse. So it was very hard for me to function. I was just surviving. Anything that was not necessary just fell to the wayside for like 9 months. But there wasn't much that he can really do as far as detoxing your body when you're pregnant. Detox is a big thing because you need to detox those toxins. That is like it's like a chemical reaction type thing. It's a reaction that happens from the bacteria in your body. I feel like I can come on here and I look put together because I was able to do my hair, do my makeup, get myself dressed. Like I was able to do those. Those are big things in my book. They take so much energy out of for me to do just one of those things. Some days it is literally doing the bare bones of what I can do to get through the day. I'm a very like productive, like go, go, go. I want to constantly go. And so it's very hard for me on days when I can't do that, and knowing that I've had to just work on, because I know if I go do the dishes, then I won't be able to get food for the kids. Or if I clean up the laundry or clean up the toys on the floor or put the books back in the bookcase or something, that is taking away. There's certain things that have to happen and certain things that, okay, that doesn't have to happen right now or today. I go through phases where I'm very, very like go, 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 and doing the dishes and doing the laundry and going to bed, and the house was picked up, and just all this stuff. And it was like, this is so nice, like so nice. And I was just so grateful because I was just able to do it. And I felt good. Like that was my good. But I know, like, I know in the back of my head that the crash is going to come. And when I crash hard. And when I am in like the crash, like I cannot do anything to function. It is awful, it's miserable, it's surviving, and you don't really know how long it's going to last, which is the other bad part. It could be just like all of a sudden go, and then I sit down and it's like, nope, I'm done. I am so grateful to have a husband who is there for me and able to help in such an amazing way. I cannot say enough thanks to him because he does so much for me when I am trying to deal with this, when I'm tired and I just need to go sleep, or if I just need to get away from the kids and the noise, then I can kind of just come in our room and close the door and get a little bit of time to decompress. I feel like sometimes we look at other people when we have this assumption that we make, I don't look like I am sick. And it really is invisible to everyone else. But there's so much behind the scenes that we don't see from people. And if I can just be authentic and show that and try to like break through this veil and this idea that, oh, well, she just looks like she has it all together. I don't. And I can guarantee you, most people do not feel that way. We feel like we are running around with our heads cut off, or at least I do. And I managed to make myself look presentable today. Anyways, this is a long sit down and chat. Thanks for watching. Make sure that you subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming your way, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.